To order. All board members are present. Let's Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I get a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Madam Chairperson, I would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any comments?
I love saying Madam Chairperson.
Okay. All in favor of approving the consent agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Committee reports.
No policy.
Southwest Metro?
We had our Southwest Metro meeting last Tuesday, the 21st. And at the meeting, one of our teachers, the teacher that works with visually impaired students, who herself is visually impaired, actually blind, legally blind, won an WCCO Excellent Educator Award. And we saw the film clip of her presentation, and quite a nice honor for our teacher to receive that award. We also had a report from the two individuals that run the Catalyst program, and the Catalyst program is the Southwest Metro ALC, but it is an ALC with a component that also deals with students' emotional and issues that deal with depression and other things that come into students' lives. So beyond getting the help in the school area, they also get support from counseling as well, both group and individual counseling, which is a part of their program. So it's an ALC with the mental health component as well. So it's a very, very good program, and students do come and go in that program. They don't just get placed in the program and that's the end of the work as far as placing them. Many students have an opportunity of getting back on track, getting their lives put together, and then exiting the program and going back to their home high school as well. So students have a success rate within the program as well as outside of the program also. Very good program. Let's see. Other than that, I guess it was just regular business as usual. Thank you.
Did CPAC meet?
Yes, we had a CPAC meeting last Monday, the 20th, and the main part of that meeting was a presentation by Barb Weber, who is an occupational therapist, and she talked about her role of being an occupational therapist and the services that's provided for students in that capacity. An occupational therapy is not a special ed, standalone type of disability. Occupational therapy is provided for students who have some other type of IP, some other type of special ed disability. So it's something that enhances the program for a student who has some other disability to help them in another way other than just the way that the main disability support helps the student. So it was a very, very informative program. We had a couple of parents there, and they appreciated very much hearing the report. Our next meeting will be in January.
Thank you. Community Ed?
Early December, which is Friday or Saturday, the brochure should go out. This last Friday was the Black Friday dance, and the crowd was about the same as last year. the donations and profits were up a little bit because of them holding a raffle. And last Wednesday set a record for an overflow pool party.
Oh,
Did it overflow?
At least somebody got it. It was the biggest crowd they've had at the pool
For a private event or just for that day?
for Wednesday,
Okay.
right before Thanksgiving.
the one, yeah, because they had,
It's an activity of some
yeah,
sort,
what was,
wasn't it?
a
What was
float, it was a float party.
Fun.
That was there the week before, it was a float party.
Did the wellness committee
No.
meet? Did early childhood?
Yes, we met, and our group applied for and received a $10,000 social emotional development grant, and two of the committee members spent a lot of time developing 5 different book bag type things with projects, puppets, and activities, and that were distributed to preschools and daycare providers. And the teachers, and then they can be sent home with so parents can work with their kids on these and then bring them back. And Mary's going to be applying for an additional grant to so they can make more of these bags available. And our current projects are going to be continued, the daycare support group and the Let's Play Saturdays from January through March, and that will take place in the gym in this room, or in this building this year. And then the book crates are in businesses around the district. And the website, one of the committee members is going to be learning how to update the website instead of having the developer do it. And then we found out that they took a survey of the current kindergarten students, and 65% of the current kindergarten students attended preschool. Yep.
So do they check out the bags from ECFE? Is that where they go through, or the grant?
Well, they're given to daycare providers, so then they could, see there's 5 different bags to teach 5 different types of like emotions and empathy and kindness, and so they want to make more bags because daycare provider only has one set of bags, and
Right.
it would take a long time to
Send them all home.
send them all home.
All right, thank you. Superintendent reports.
Yeah, just a few things there. First off, construction of the transportation building. Driven by there, you can see our vans and buses are put away there. I was at a breakfast on Wednesday before Thanksgiving break, and they had a little retirement thing for Gene Bezick, who's a retired driver, and they were pretty giddy having this done, especially right before really the winter comes, and getting all our vehicles inside is a big deal, and it was very much a need, and I know they're very appreciative of it, and it's gonna, obviously save us a lot of money with vehicles and stuff like that, with warming up buses and vans and all that stuff, so it's a good thing. Second thing is, I'm gonna just put a plug in, Don was mentioning the aquatics center. We have reduced prices for memberships now. It's on our website. One of the specials we're running is if you get a year-long membership, you get the month of December free. So we've got Tony Boothie and Julie Schmitz working hard at marketing and promoting, helping out with the aquatic center staff, and trying to get more people in there. And it has this month in fitness classes alone. In the month of October, I think we had 39 people in fitness classes, and I think we had like 149 this month so far. So it's really picking up. Like Don mentioned, Wednesday was a very busy day, and we got a new swim club coach that started today. So yeah, things are good, are looking up. And then last thing I just want to mention, High School Musical.
last performance was yesterday on Sunday. One of the best musicals plays I've seen in New Prague since I've been here, and usually have gone to one almost every single year. But kids did a great job. Hats off to Ben TG and Nicole TG for their work there. Very, very proud of the fine arts program that we have here, and especially the kids, 50-some kids in the musical, so it was wonderful.
Thank you. We're going to next have the World's Best Workforce presentation.
All right, we got Tony Boothie and Maren Beller.
School Board and Superintendent Dip Burner, each year for the past 4 years, actually, the World's Best Workforce was passed in 2013 by the Department of Education. But each year we need your approval on our World's Best Workforce. Mara and myself working along with all of the administration on our goals, which Maren will specifically go over, but we create or write up a summary. And the World's Best Workforce is for last year. So for the 2016-2017 school year, we go through and we see how we've done on our achievement goals, and write up a summary, send that into the Department of Education, and that fulfills then their requirement. That summary goes on our district website, and every school district in Minnesota now has to do that. They continue to kind of keep changing a little bit, but for the first year in 4 years now, I think our template was exactly the same the last 2 years, which is a positive thing for us. So Marin's going to go over, we have a little bit of the PowerPoint here, the achievement goals, and then how we did in those areas, and then what we'll do to continue to work towards reaching those goals.
Oh, perfect. All right, so the state sets 5 parameters for us that we have to align to, and the first goal, that children are ready for school, that goal we work with Mary Bartuszczyk and the early childhood staff and creating a goal. And so though we did not meet our goal for this year specifically, her goal was tied to academic readiness of specific skills. The students were close to reaching their goal, and she has already reviewed her goals and looking at her goals for this year, so we are on track. And one of her goals that she's going to work on for this next year is actually looking at enrollment of preschool and looking at increasing. Her program continues to grow and fill up, and so that's a great thing to have. And so we are looking at alignment as well in terms of ensuring that the readiness that preschool is doing is aligned to our kindergarten readiness. And so Mary and I have been working together and getting our preschool teachers with our kindergarten teachers and ensuring that a lot of our students, I believe this last year, almost 65% of our current kindergartners went to a New Prague preschool, whether here in town or in Elko New Market. And so with that high number, we want to make sure that we are aligned both from pre-K to K to make that transition smooth for our families. So that first goal was really for our early childhood program. And then our next goal was all third graders reading at grade level. We did not meet this goal either, however, it's quite lofty. This next year, we're going to look at more of a specific goal in terms of tying our Fontes and Pennell, which is our reading assessment that we use for our students, along with our FAST assessment, and looking specifically at our students in terms of how we can help all students, and really more looking at growth rather than overall proficiency. And so this goal we are tackling through our balanced literacy implementation that we are doing a 3 to 4 year plan on improving our instruction as a whole as a K-5 staff. And so that goal, we have steps in place for that goal as well. The third goal ties with the achievement gap, and we did not meet this goal either. However, one thing that makes this goal this area tricky in our district is our cell sizes are so small with our different achievement gaps. It is small, and depending on which category we're looking at, it can be rather difficult to move some of our student populations. So we are continuing to look at our curriculums and making sure that they are meeting all of our students' needs, and just ensuring that all students are given that equal and fair education. Students' career and college readiness, for this goal, we look at our ACT, and we were a 10th of a way goal from our goal this year, and so we were very close. And for that goal, we look at our gap with the state average. And so our goal that we worked on with Lonnie this year was that we were 1 point above the state average, and we were 9/10. And so we were super close in that goal. And Lonnie and his staff continually reflect and look at the ACT data specifically in terms of how they can continue to help their kids. And, you know, ACT is just one element that we could be looking at for career and college readiness. One thing that's tricky is the ACT operates on a different set of standards than our MCA. And the MCA is what we are held accountable for in terms of what the state looks at. And so it is a continual discussion that we have with our teachers, because the ACT is, you know, widely known at many colleges that our students are going to. So it's really a balance that our high school teachers are facing in terms of really looking at both sets of standards. And then our graduation goal, we did not meet this either. However, our graduation goal is very high, and I believe we were close to 96% this year, and the goal was also very high. So continually look to, you know, working with counseling staff and with Lonnie specifically in terms of making sure that our students are continuing to be on track for graduation. So those were our 5 areas, and those 5 areas that you see on the slide there, those don't change from the state, but what we can do as a district is really refine our goals specifically that we are looking at.
These are the goals the state has, the 5?
These are the 5
Okay.
umbrellas. Yep, and
So
then
when you say all, and you say you can refine, you can kind of modify it like.
we will work within that. Yep, specifically, like all 3rd graders can read at grade level. That one is where we want to look at growth. So of course we want all of our kids at grade level. However, some of our kids are coming in at a much lower. So we want to make sure that if they're not quite at grade level, are they growing and closing that?
progressing.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. So yes, there are specific parameters within
No,
there.
I-
Yep.
I-
Nope. Good question.
I think that those goals are a little more realistic than
Yes.
the all.
Right. It does make it very, very tricky. So, and you know, too, thinking of all students are ready for career and college, the ACT is not an appropriate test for all students. So as a district, we're trying to look at, you can have multiple goals within one umbrella of an end goal. And so, you know, working with Amy and her staff with special services in terms of making sure that all of our students are reflected in our goals too, because currently not all of our students take the ACT, for example. So
And
those
when
are
you
all, as we're getting more familiar with World's Best Workforce, we're continuing to refine ourselves as we work on our goals.
When you say 96% of the students graduate, how does that compare statewide? We must
Very
be
high.
Very high.
Yeah.
It's one of the highest.
That's what I was wondering. There can't be too many higher, really.
No,
right?
and even with our comparables, that's still
Okay,
very
that's
high.
good to know.
And some of these students graduate later than
Yes.
too, don't they?
Yes, right. There's a 4-, 5-, and 6-year graduation rate. So this one was looking at the 4-year graduation
Yeah,
rate.
and
Yeah.
obviously our 6-year graduation rate's probably 98% or
Yes.
whatever, so.
Yes. And partly because of the 4 years, because the state needs this in a timely, the next year. We're not able to.
I think the state average is 82% or 81, right around there.
So basically, your responsibility is approving our plan that we create every year. We also have shared this plan with our district advisory committee that met at the beginning of November for their review and for their input as well, along with sharing it with our principals at a recent principals meeting. So that has been, we have submitted our plan to the state for their review, and as Tony mentioned, we do receive feedback from them every year. It doesn't always tend to be very specific, but they do review the plans and provide us with some feedback in terms of what they would like us to improve the following year.
Well, how do they, I mean, their approach for a district like ours has got to be different based on success of students and things like that. How do they set your goals if?
They're not actually looking at our goals specifically. Their criteria that they look at, they have a word count for us. And they want to see if we have actionable steps that we are working on in terms of like how are we addressing our goals. So in our report that is much longer, that is what they are looking at specifically. So they don't take into account our demographics or even our test scores specifically. They're looking at each goal that we set, and do they feel that the content that we're providing for the goal, does it align, and do they feel that it's actionable? And so that's the
Yeah,
type of
they're
feedback
just looking at the action plan, basically.
that we get.
So do they give you feedback or quote grade you on it or
They give
evaluate
us a
you?
rubric.
Oh,
They give us a
okay.
rubric back, and we have what makes it a little bit challenging is we don't get the rubric ahead of time, so we're going off of last
Oh,
year's
sure. Oh, I see.
rubric
Yeah.
for the report, if that makes sense. So they give us, it's very little information. But in the past, I believe this is just the first year that we've gotten information back. We haven't always received information back. So.
Yeah, we do very well on that. I would like to just kind of go through our actual goal setting and how this does work with our district goals. So you as the school board, Superintendent Dip Burner, provide every summer, late summer and August, district goals that he would like to have the entire district work on. Those are his goals for our buildings, for our administrators. So in August, we always bring in our leadership team. We started that about 4 years ago when Tim came on, and that's been a wonderful benefit to all of our buildings and administration. So if you think from the top, your school board district goals, which are provided by you folks and Mr. Dip Burner, we then go to the buildings, and we literally meet all together as an admin team / leadership team, and we talk and convene on the district goals. They then go into their own classroom, high school in the classroom, middle school, elementaries, all the way down to early childhood. From Tim's district goals, from your district goals, they then build building goals. What we're going to do better this year for probably the first time is use our world's best workforce goals in those 5 areas and ensure that they're covered within those buildings. That's probably one area where we were a little bit gray. Now that we do know the rubric and the template of what it is they're asking, we're going to massage those into our building goals. So Mr. Seifert knows, we're kind of on a level playing field. From those building goals, when they leave there, they go back during workshop week. Departments and grade levels then create goals within those buildings. From the department grade level building goals, then come our teacher goals. They do 2 of them, an achievement goal and a performance goal. So you can see, and I feel very good about this, and I think in the 5 years that Mr. Dip Burner's been here, we have very clear school board district goals. We have very clear building goals. We have very clear grade level or department goals, and we have very clear teacher goals. All right, and then if you just flip that over, our teachers know exactly what they're working on for their students and for themselves personally to achieve the grade level or the department goals. Those grade level and department goals are very specifically trying to meet the building goals, which are also now our world's best workforce goals. Those goals are very specific to meet Mr. Dip Burner and the school board's district goals. So I feel really good about the alignment of all of our goals, and that takes place every August. Then it's very easy at the end of the year, and I know Tim utilizes those building goals when he meets with the principals. How are we doing on our building goals? and those are the assessments and things like that that they have built in place from their teachers. So I think we're sitting in a wonderful place. We're here tonight to ask you to approve the 2016-2017's World's Best Workforce Summary that has already been submitted to the Department of Education, and with your approval, then will be on our district website. Any questions?
Like I said, it's all on our website, the report and everything, so, on
Does it-
past years, so.
Thank you for
Yeah.
finding.
What gets measured gets done.
Yeah,
Measure what matters.
thank you.
I get a motion to approve the World Best Workforce
So moved.
Report?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Next, we have calendar drafts for
Yeah,
next
let's
year.
get to the real serious stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go over, the calendar committee, has put together,
You
it's
too.
just me. The best committee I've ever been part of. Came up with two drafts, a draft A and a draft B, and I just want to go over it with you, and with your permission, we'll be sending out to staff for their feedback, and then also we'll send it out to parents too, get their feedback. So the first draft, as you can see, draft A is almost a replica of this past 3 years, actually, where we're starting again before Labor Day. Yeah, you can pretty much see that, and we get done. May 23rd is the last day, May 23rd. So Labor Day is May 27th. The only difference on this one is I didn't put in a full spring break around Easter because it's so late. It's later in April, and we're probably about 3 or 4 weeks away from the end of school. So it didn't make sense, but we did put a 3-day Easter weekend around there in. We took February 15th, so we sandwiched that with President's Day. So no, there's a 4-day weekend, that type of thing. So it's a early start, early out with the modified spring break. So very similar to what we've done the last 3 years. We can do this type of calendar, 2 reasons. First of all, we've got a construction project at the high school. If I got to send a letter in, I can do that. But being part of the innovation zone, we have a waiver to build our own calendar the way we want to either. Anyway, so anyway, that's draft A. Put draft B up, which is quite a bit different. It starts after Labor Day on the September 4th there. One big thing on this one is basically 2 weeks off for Christmas. Also on there, in Easter, it's just Friday, Easter off. And the spring break, there's a spring break the last week in March. And the ending date is June 6th, Thursday, June 6th. So we'd have graduation on June 7th, not on Memorial Friday. So quite a bit different, more obviously bigger breaks. Like I said, late start, late ending. So didn't feel like doing 3 different ones or 4 different ones. We're just going 2 and let it go at that, if you're okay with that.
It seems to me most people are pretty happy starting early, I think, right? From what I've heard.
I'd be surprised. I don't want to speak for the parents, but just the feedback I've gotten from staff and students, they love the calendar the way it's been. But, if I don't get feedback, this is the first time we've been able to get feedback because we've had to, basically go with that calendar with construction. I think people would be disappointed if they couldn't have some say in it, input. Does that make sense?
What
So-
about the project at the high school? Will that, is there
We'll
plenty
be
of time
fine,
to
yeah,
fit-
yeah.
Even if we start early?
Yeah,
it's-
just so everyone knows, we have a roofing project this summer at the high school. The roof is 20 years old. It's only on the portion of the building that was built in '98, not the addition. And Craig's already got worked out with the architect, and when it goes up for bid, that the academic wings are done first, and the very backside in the gymnasium, whatever. And that wouldn't even affect on the inside. If you remember Falconridge, it was more than anything would be the smell. Or if there somehow they did get behind, maybe a little bit noise, but they'd be working on the gym, locker room, roof part last. We're also, you remember at the last meeting too, we're gonna go replacing our air conditioning units with a chiller. So that's part of the whole project too now.
And that'll be done at the very end, or?
Yeah, and I'm not sure, I shouldn't say at the end. I'm not sure how they coordinate that whole thing. But you know, they're able to get to it right away in May, you know, because we get out early here. So they're confident, shouldn't have any problem. If they do, it'll be on the wing that wouldn't disturb the school hardly at all anyway. Okay? Any other questions on the calendars? Okay, that's all I got.
So you're gonna send this to the,
Staff, and then send that one out to the parents too.
and I mean, you also have the option of starting early and ending early in the second one with the longer breaks. So the second one starts after Labor Day and
Yeah.
goes to June. You could start the week earlier and still get out, have graduation the week of the,
Oh,
Oh,
you're talking the
before
last week in
Memorial
May
Day.
then?
yeah.
Yeah, the only thing is we got Memorial Day Monday, and that's the only, I mean, yeah, I could do it. You want me to do a third one? I could if are you saying like end on instead of May 23rd, May 30th?
Yeah, that's what it shows here,
No,
May
just
30th.
Oh.
the same start and end as the other one, couldn't you do?
By taking out one of the breaks, you're saying, like in Christmas? Is that what you're saying? Like kind of say, put that break,
If I took that out, then it would end probably that Thursday, May 30th.
Well,
Or you're saying something
right
else.
now it starts after Labor Day and it goes to June.
You're talking about draft B? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could start it early.
Like before Labor Day.
Yeah.
That's what the first one did.
well, I think you're trying to show a contrast.
That's what I'm.
You want this, and you can modify it once it's approved, or
We could always modify anything, but I.
I,
Basically, you're right. I'm trying to do a contrast. Do you want the start early, end early, or do you want
The dates
start
are all
late,
the same,
end a
right?
little bit later?
the days, the staff days are the same on both drafts, right? And the days off, it's just how you position them. You know, I just want to add, it's very, you could tell there's a lot of time put into the calendars last couple of years, because we utilize the time so good. Whether it be a holiday, a national holiday, I just think the time is very well utilized. I mean, it
I think basically
speaks a lot.
what you were looking at, Kitten, there's a week later start in each one, correct? And then 2 weeks later ending, I think, that's what's, that's just getting more confusing. I mean, that's what it shows here, right?
It doesn't matter, she
Yeah,
says.
it all comes
I
out
don't
the
know.
same. Yeah, wow.
No, the only thing I thought of is a third calendar. I know this isn't what you're trying to say, but that we could start after Labor Day and then end on May. But it was just with Memorial Day and then still with graduation. I don't know, the calendar committee didn't think it was proper.
Make sure the minutes
Voted
reflect
down.
that.
They got turned down, huh?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, well,
All
we'll
right.
just get feedback from the teachers.
It's one of those things, you give people too many choices,
Right.
it just
Yeah,
gets
that's-
confusing.
that's true.
That's all. I like things simple. And so does the calendar committee.
Okay,
All right.
enough on the calendar. We have 2 resolutions for donations.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to consider the resolution to accept a donation from Mike and Stacy Pieper.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to consider the following resolution. Whereas the school board may accept the gift valued at $1,000 or more only by adoption of a resolution by 2/3 of its members, and whereas Mike and Stacy Pieper wish to donate a Riften gate trainer, small stander to support students with physical impairments to the school district, valued at $1,350 under no conditions. Now therefore be resolved by the New Prague Area School Board of Education that they shall accept the donation under no condition. How do you vote on this, Don?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Kitten?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Dennis, yes, item passes. And then I'll entertain another motion to consider the resolution to accept the donation from the Girls Fast Pitch Association.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to consider the following resolution. Whereas the school board may accept the gift valued at $1,000 or more only by adoption of a resolution by 2/3 of its members, and whereas the New Prague Girls Fast Pitch Association wishes to donate $4,000 to the school district under no conditions. Now therefore be resolved by the New Prague Area School Board of Education to accept the donation under no condition. How do you vote on this, Jerry?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Kitten?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Dennis, yes, item passes.
But I do have a question. If you get a donation that's not specified, it still has to be for the group that it's specified for?
I would imagine that would be the case. It's for the from the association for the softball, but there are no conditions,
Yeah.
But
no strings attached
just that it
after
has
that.
to be used for softball.
It has to be used for softball, yep.
But with no strings attached other than that.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes 7-0.